From all over Halifax, Muslims came together with the same voice to denounce the video that they've all found so offensive.
All over the world there have been protests regarding how strong the Muslims feel that the honour of our Prophet has been attacked so disrespectfully, and we feel Muslims that we should take a stand on this.
The demonstration began outside the Madni Mosque following Friday prayers. From there, a march through the streets began. Those here say the Innocence of Muslims video, which was published online by a Californian man who's now in jail, mocks their Prophet Muhammad, portraying him as a fool and a sexual deviant. As this protest has wound its way through the streets in this part of Halifax, people have been coming out of side streets, out of houses, determined to join in and show their opposition to the publication of this video. Similar protests elsewhere in the world have turned violent. Here in Halifax, the mood was peaceful but still defiant.
I look to God for everything I have. So whenever something like this happens, when God's messenger is insulted, I can't just do nothing.
I work myself. I came this afternoon because I thought this is more important to me than work and money and businesses.
Those gathered here have demanded this video be removed and banned and hope their protest helps stop the publication of similar material in the future.
So James, why has the ruling been delayed?
Well, it seems there have been medical developments since yesterday's hearing. The court was opened up specially this morning for the judge to make a ruling on whether or not it is in Neon's best interests to have radiotherapy following his surgery on a brain tumour. Previously, a doctor had said that without such treatment, the 7-year-old could die within months. But his mother, Sally, argued that he shouldn't get such treatment because of the risk of possible long-term side effects. Now, we know that Neon was due to have an MRI scan yesterday, and the judge came in and spoke of a change in the medical landscape. He said that there have been developments affecting Neon's ability to have such therapies. Now, his mother, Sally, gave us this reaction outside court.
Thank you for all your interest in the case and all the support.
How is Neon getting on?
No more comment, thank you. He's good. He's very good in himself, and yes, we'll speak early next week.
What we don't know is whether Neon's condition has worsened or improved, but his condition will be kept under review. And the judge said parents and clinicians must agree on future treatment, or the case will be back here to be determined.
What's that? Good girl.
Back home with 15-month-old Jayla. Even this time last week, Yogi didn't know if he'd make it back home to King's Clipston near Mansfield before Christmas.
It was painful. I didn't know what to do. This is her first Christmas that she can really understand what it's all about, type of thing. And it's one of the reasons why I really, really wanted to come back. I have some pictures on my phone of Jayla. Her smile just is something I love, and that's what I was looking forward to.
Yogi flew to Cuba after Hurricane Sandy. His mother had lost her home, but officials wouldn't accept his British passport when he wanted to leave. It took 4 weeks to sort the paperwork.
Just horrible. We came to the conclusion he wasn't coming home for Christmas, so we decided we weren't having Christmas Day until he did come back into the country. So to me, really, Christmas was cancelled. It was a really good Christmas Day, and we opened the door, and just to see Jayla's face together, we were so excited, and she ran to the biggest present, just ripped it undone. It was really good for us both to see it.
Jayla, high five.
Now the whole family's putting their enforced separation behind them. Marcin Kasprach is behind bars tonight after being convicted of trying to murder his ex-girlfriend. Michalina Lewandowska was buried alive, the court was told, because her fiancé was bored with her. Her reaction to today's verdict was read by police on her behalf.
During my time inside the shallow grave where I was buried alive, I feared that my life was at an end and that I was going to die. I prayed to God to help me survive so that I could look after my young son. The thought of my son gave me the strength to fight my way out of the box and save myself. For many years I loved Marcin Kasprach very much, but after his horrific attack upon me, my feelings towards him have turned to hatred.
Her ordeal began at the house in Huddersfield where she lived with Kasprach and their 3-year-old son. The 25-year-old shocked her with a taser stun gun. He then bound and gagged her, helped by his friend Patrick Borish, and bundled her into an old computer box, which was loaded into his car boot. They brought her the short distance to this woodland near Castle Hill, carried the box to a secluded spot, and a shovel was used to pile several inches of soil and leaves on top, as well as a heavy branch. Kasprach tried to persuade the court that he knew she could escape, but the jury didn't believe him. Michelina did escape after using her engagement ring to tear her way out of the box. She then flagged down a passing car for help.
The victim in this terrifying ordeal demonstrated tremendous bravery and undoubtedly saved her own life by escaping from the box that she'd been buried in. Marcin Kasprach has shown himself to be an unpleasant intimidator of a vulnerable woman, and I'm pleased that he is now behind bars where he belongs.
During the case, the court was told Kasprach had spoken to friends about wanting to end their relationship after meeting other prettier girls at his gym, but he said he only buried her to scare her into moving away. He'll be sentenced next month along with Patrick Borish, who was cleared of attempted murder but admits kidnap. Both have been told to expect time in prison. The lunchtime rush at this sandwich shop, a 2-minute walk from Lincolnshire County Council's offices. But councillors have no need to come here when there's a full meeting, because there's a full 2-course meal waiting for them that costs around £17 a head, paid for by taxpayers.
They're cutting everything else and then they're being extravagant on the people, the councillors. I just think it's wrong.
You could get a pack of sandwiches from somewhere for £2 or £3.
Since 2009, the council spent just under £22,000 on lunches for its 17 full council meetings. That's an average of £16.76 per councillor. The most lavish year for catering was 2009 to 10, when it worked out at just over £18 a head. This year, so far, it's £17 and a penny.
This speaks of a culture of a council which hasn't got to grip with the idea that it has to provide value for taxpayers' money and search for savings out of every budget. If we can't trust them to get value out of lunch, how can we trust them to get value out of services?
So what could £17 buy you? Well, here in this sandwich shop, it's quite a feast. We've got 1 sandwich, 3 packs of crisps, 4 drinks, 3 chocolate bars and 5 cakes, which for just one person is quite a lot of food. And people coming here spend much less.
Typical spend is about £3.50. We sell baguettes, and a packet of crisp and cold drinks. For £17 a head, it's way too much. Probably could quarter it.
But the council's catering bill's angering unions whose members are losing jobs and facing pay cuts.
We even have families that are working full-time that are accessing food banks in the south of the county just to keep food on the table to feed their children. And it's astounding that £17 is being paid out like that. I think it's a shock.
We think it's very important that we provide an opportunity for those elected representatives of the people in Lincolnshire to get together and to be able to network over lunch during a council meeting. And so we have to put extra staff on to make certain that the meals get served quickly to enable that to happen.
The council's catering contract is soon up for renewal. They say if a new firm can provide better value lunches, then they'll get the contract. Lincoln Castle's background can be traced to 60 AD, but staff here think today's announcement is a defining moment. Work on a new heritage centre's already started, and now bigger plans for the building behind.
Well, this is the Victorian male prison. It's closed to the public at the moment, and we'll be restoring this space. When you go into the cells, some of them will be restored as they would have been when it was in use, and then other cells will have interactive displays and interpretation.
One of only 4 surviving copies of the Magna Carta from 1215 is housed here. This £12 million heritage lottery grant will pay for a new vault to hold it in. Other parts of the site will also be restored.
The prisoners had to be kept separate, so they filed into their pews.
They're tiny.
Aren't they just? And then each door would close behind each prisoner, and of course the only view that you can get is of the sermon and the vicar delivering it. It is quite unpleasant, isn't it?
Renovations will start after this year's Christmas market. Also in line for improvement to the castle walls. Officials tell me they can't remember when it was last possible to do a complete circuit. This money will change all that and replace these rather tired-looking railings.
I think it's going to make a huge difference to this wonderful facility to actually improve it, revamp it and make it into a really vibrant, successful tourist attraction.
The grand reopening is planned for 3 years' time, the 800th anniversary of the Magna Carta.
The winner of the X Factor 2011 is Reece Webster!
The moment Reece's family saw his dream come true.
How are you feeling? Oh, over the moon. Absolutely ecstatic. It's unbelievable. It really is great.
But it was an anxious wait earlier as they caught up on his performance from last night with Kylie on YouTube.
He's been a pleasure to work with, and that was a lot of fun. We got to do that again sometime.
I just watched it and watched it and watched it. It was absolutely brilliant. What a grandson I've got.
I'm just looking for a good night.
Reece's singing also impressed Judge Mel B, who's from Leeds. His performance today of what'll be his first single got a standing ovation.
I'm here. Leave me out.
Nana Carroll.
Yes, James.
What was that like?
It was fantastic.
Was there a moment there where you thought it might not be him?
No. I knew. Gut-wrenching. The weight was unbelievable.
I mean, there's so many people I want to thank, like my family, my friends, and just everybody else.
It might be 6 years since Reece left Scunthorpe, but Carol's boss had made sure the town heard the news.
I've been screaming up and down the street all day. Been in every shop, told them all that he's won, all down the street, everywhere.
I've got a grandson that's won the Australian X Factor, and I'm so proud. So proud.
Reece Mastin and the Mastin